Today we're going to finish our alligator seascape. The first thing we're going to do is work on our background. Now, hopefully we got a lot of painting done on this in previous days, but if you're not done, we're going to use oil pastels to finish some stuff up. Oil pastels and tempera paint go really, really well together because they both have really nice bright colors. There are three things I like to use oil pastels for. I can use it to fill in any white areas that maybe I didn't get finished with paint. I can use it to fix mistakes that might happen on my paper with the paint. And I can use it to add extra details. So to start out, I'm going to fill in some white areas. So I'm going to choose a color that I think looks good with my painting. The color choice is up to you. Now, when you use oil pastels, you'll notice that if you color lightly with them, they look like crayon. But if you press hard with them, they look like paint. So we really want to try to press a little bit harder so that we get the paint look today, and it will match the rest of our painting. So I'm just going to use my pastels to fill in all the white areas with really, really bright colors. Now all my white areas are filled in. You might have noticed that I used two pastels blended together in this area, just like I did with the paint. So you can kind of do the same thing if you choose as well. Now the next thing I'm going to do is fix mistakes. I was not really happy with my trees when I painted them. I thought that my brush didn't really make the tiny details that I wanted. So these smaller pastels actually could work better for me to create some trees. So I'm just going to color right over the paint. And I'm gonna make the leaves sort of more the shape that I want. So if you color hard enough with your pastels, you should be able to cover up any paint mistakes that are underneath, especially if you choose a color that is a little darker than the paint that's underneath, and if you press really hard and take your time to go over it. So as you can see, I have totally covered up my original tree and replaced it with a tree that I like the shape of a little bit better. And I'm also going to go in with, different colors and add extra details, like maybe a little shadow. I might use white to mix in a little bit of highlight onto my tree so that it's not just one color. Maybe I'll add a little bit of grass, like so. Now, the last thing we can do after we fix our mistakes is we can add details. So anything that you did not have time to do with the paint, we can do that now. I'm going to choose to take the white and finish up my little reflections on my water just by adding some little tiny horizontal lines that will look like sparkles. So you might remember, I really like to do this with white because it looks like shiny little highlights that really happen on water. But you can also do it with other colors that are in your sky. Like maybe I want the pink to look like it's reflected in the water as well. So I'm just going to keep going until I have any extra details that I want in my picture. All right, I think I'm all done with the oil pastel. You might have noticed that I made my ripples really tiny up here near the sun, and then as I get farther down my paper, I made them look bigger. That way it looks like these ripples are closer than the ones that are farther away in the background. So if you want to do that, that'll really make your painting look three-dimensional. Now the last step is gluing on our alligator. I'm going to take my alligator and finish up any teeth or oil pastel details that I didn't do the other day. Then I'm going to lay my alligator so that he lines up with the edge of my paper, but I'm also going to kind of play around with moving him up and down just a bit so that he doesn't cover up any of my favorite parts of the artwork. Now, once I have him laid out in a good spot, I'm not going to take him off and put a whole bunch of gloopy glue all over the back so that I make a giant mess as I'm trying to lay him down. I'm going to do kind of a sneakier little gluing trick. And what I'm going to do is lay him where I want him, line him out, line him up exactly. And then I'm going to take my glue bottle, twist it open, shake the glue down, and I'm going to lift up little corners of my alligator and add the glue dots and then press down for 10 seconds. So this way I shouldn't have too much glue on the back that will drip all over as I'm trying to lay him down. It's a much easier way to glue your big pieces. And this way I'm also making sure that my alligator ends up right where I want him to go. So after I have snuck glue underneath all sides of my alligator and pressed it down gently, I can leave my project to dry.